Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome back to Wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. After a break of I think 2 weeks, we had Janmashtami in between. So I hope you all celebrated Janmashtami very nicely wherever you are. And those who joined us in Lower Hut, I think we all had a very good time celebrating the appearance day of the Supreme Lord. More than 500 people joined, so our hall was completely full. So it was a great experience to celebrate with so many devotees, and the energy was amazing, ecstatic time. So we are back to Bhagavad Gita today, and we are on chapter 10, the opulence of the Absolute. Till now, we have done 2 sessions on this chapter, and we have covered till verse number 18. And last time, in the last session, we covered verse number 10 to 18. So 10 and 11, these 2 verses are part of the Chatur-Shloki Bhagavad Gita, and they mainly talk about the prayojan. What is the result? What is the goal that we aim for? So there, in the 10th verse, Lord mentioned that to those who are constantly devoted in serving me with love, Krishna says that he gives the understanding by which they can come to me. And how he gives that understanding? He says in the next verse that I'm sitting in everyone's heart. I have already told all of you that whatever you have, I will protect it. If you're doing my Ananya Bhakti, you're doing sincere Bhakti for me, then whatever you have, I'll protect it. And whatever you do not have, I will give to you. So if you're lacking in knowledge, I'm sitting in your heart. And all the knowledge, all the remembrance and forgetfulness also comes from me. And he mentions that in the 15th chapter afterwards. Uh, but everything comes from me, all the knowledge, I'm the source of that. So if I'm sitting in your heart and I can see that you are lacking in the knowledge, I will give that knowledge by which you can come to me. So he compared that with the shining lamp of knowledge. He is going to remove our ignorance. And that is his special mercy on the devotees. So after hearing about the special mercy that the Lord is going to give, Arjuna is very overwhelmed and he started glorifying the Supreme Lord. He said that you are Param Brahma, Param Dhama, and many other things that he mentioned after that. And he said that it is not only I'm just doing this praise because you are my friend. I have actually heard about your greatness, about you being the Supreme Personality of Godhead from great sages like Asita, Devala, Vyasa, and now you yourself have also told me about this. And then he glorifies the Lord further, that he says that you are a Purushottama, you are a Bhuta Bhavana, you are a Bhutesha, you are a Dev Deva, you are Jagatpate in verse number 15. And then he explains his desire to hear about Krishna more. Now he is already satisfied from the intelligence perspective. His intelligence is satisfied that yes, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I have no doubt about it. But his mind, he wants to absorb more and more into Krishna. So for that absorption, for his senses, he wants to actually engage into hearing this nectarian description of the Supreme Lord directly from the mouth of the Supreme Lord. And also he has this um vision that okay, in future people are going to say that, common people will say that, oh, I want to see Krishna before I can actually worship Krishna. So from that, all of that perspective, he's explaining, he's actually having a desire for Lord to explain how the common person can see Krishna in his day-to-day life. And that is why he's asking that please explain how can I absorb myself in this material world? Uh, what are the things that I can, what are the forms, what are the things that I can actually look at and think of you? And that is where Lord Shri Krishna now starts speaking from verse number 19. Now he has actually mentioned that Vistarena. So he's saying in detail, in the 18th verse, Arjuna said that in detail you actually explain to me all your opulences, all your vibhutis. So Krishna is actually first saying that you want to actually hear in detail, but uh, let us see first what Krishna says, and then we will talk about it, why he says that. So we are on verse number 19. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Hantate Kathayeshyami Divyayatma Vibhutayaha Pradhanyatah Kurukshreshtha Nasyat Nastyanto Vistarasya Me. Yes, Vibhor Prabhuji, please go ahead. And we are going to cover lots of verses. We are going to finish this chapter today. So please raise your hands quickly so that you are lined up immediately one after another. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Ji Prabhuji. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestation, but only those which are prominent. O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless." Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So Arjuna said, they tell me in detail. But Krishna is saying, hey, my opulence is limitless. So if I have to actually tell you in detail, that means we are sitting here and Kali Yuga will come and still they will be still discussing about the opulences. And all these other 18 Aukshahini, this army is waiting for fighting. The conches have been blown and they are just waiting for this discussion to finish. So it will be impossible for uh, Arjuna to hear and remember everything. Because Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport as well, one of the other reasons, that the jivas are limited and we have limited intelligence. We have limited memory as well. So for a jiva, it is impossible to actually understand the limitless opulence of the Supreme Lord. So we are limited. The opulences are limitless. Because Krishna is limitless, he's unlimited. Similarly, his opulences are also unlimited. And of course, there is a practical reason that we just talked about. The army is waiting. If they just continue talking about hours and hours, then finally, when will they fight? So that is also a challenge. So from that all perspective, Krishna says, I will mention pradhanyataha. Pradhanyataha means those who are prominent. I'll explain you the prominent ones because otherwise my opulences are limitless. So we will just focus on the exceptional opulences. Vibhuti actually means exceptional opulences. And Krishna has many such exceptional opulences as well. So out of those many exceptional opulences, Krishna is going to actually choose some representative opulences and mention to Arjuna because of his desire that he has explained. So let us see. And then he starts now. So from this verse onwards, from 20th verse onwards, for around 20 verses, 20 to 39, Krishna explains various opulences. And there are total 82 opulences he is going to mention in these verses. And we are going to see them one after another, but very quickly. Let us go to the next verse. अहम आत्मा गुडाकेश सर्वभूताशय स्थितः अहम आदिश्च मध्यम च भूतानाम अंत एव च. Yes, Mahendra Prabhu and then Surananda Prabhu. Next one you can.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I am the Super Soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So here, thank you, Prabhuji. Here, Krishna has actually started speaking of his opulences. The first one he says, Aham Atma Gudakesha. So here the Atma is referring to the Paramatma because this Atma, he's saying that I'm the super soul seated in the hearts of all living entities. So there is only one Atma which sits across all the living entities, which is Paramatma. So that is why here the Atma which is referred to is the super soul. And Krishna is the super soul of everything. So when the material creation, Mahat Tattva, was created, so for that also Atma or the Paramatma was required. So Krishna expanded as Mahavishnu or Karanodakshai Vishnu, and he entered into that Mahat Tattva so that the creation can take place. Then all these universes came out from the body of Mahavishnu. Then each of the universes, this Karanodakshai Vishnu or Mahavishnu expanded as Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and that Garbhodakshai Vishnu entered into each universe as the super soul of that universe. And that is when the creation could take place, because from that Garbhodakshai Vishnu's navel that lotus came on which Brahma was born. And then Brahma created this secondary creation, and all the living entities and everything got created. But again, those living entities were lifeless. So again, that Garbhodakshai Vishnu expanded into Kshirodakshai Vishnu form, and that Kshirodakshai Vishnu entered in each of these living entities, and that is when everything came into life. So he is the Paramatma in the form of Kshirodakshai Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Karanodakshai Vishnu, and that is how everything is going on. So he is the super soul. So that is the first opulence which is mentioned. Then the next one which is mentioned is he is the beginning, middle, and end of all beings. So he's the creation, maintenance, and the annihilation as well. So everything is Krishna. From beginning to end, Krishna is looking after. Then, then we are coming to the next verse. Verse number 21. Adityanam aham Vishnur Jyotisham Ravir Anshuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatranam aham Shashi. Surananda Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Marus, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So here, this verse is talking about out of Adityas, all the Adityas, I am Vishnu. So Adityas are the sons of Aditi. So Aditi, all the sons of Aditi were called Adityas. And out of those Adityas, the Lord is referring to that I am Vishnu. So who's that Vishnu? Who is Aditi's son? Who came, like Vishnu came in that form?
Vamanadev.
That's correct, Janki Mataji. Yeah, Vamana Dev. So here, out of all Adityas, Krishna is saying, I am Vamana. Then, of lights, I am the radiant sun. So, sun amongst all the entities which gives a light. And of the Marutas, there are, Srila Prabhupada mentions, there are 50 varieties of wind blowing in space. And of these winds, the controlling deity Marichi represents Krishna. So Marichi is the controlling deity of all the wind. And Krishna is saying that I am that Marichi. And of all the stars, I am the moon, Krishna says. So actually here, if you actually see, notice how Krishna is actually doing it is in these 20 verses that we have started looking. Krishna lists various different objects. For example, of all the stars, I am the moon, or of all the lights, I am the sun, or of all the wind, I am Marichi, or of all the Adityas, which is again a group of people, and then he is the chief or the prominent bit amongst them. So this is how Krishna is actually representing in these various different 82 opulences that Krishna is mentioning. So either he lists various objects or a group of living beings and states that he is their essence or the chief amongst them. So this is how we will see in the further verses as well. So let us go to verse number 22. Vedanam samavedosmi, devanam asmi vasavaha, indriyanam manaschasmi, bhutanam asmi chetana. Yes, Gunjan Mataji, please go ahead.
Of the Vedas, I am the Samveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind, and in living beings, I am the living force, consciousness. Hare
Thank you, Maharaj.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here, Krishna is saying, out of all the Vedas, like the four Vedas which are there, he is representing Samaveda. Now, Samaveda has a lot of glorification of the Supreme Lord, and it can be sung. So it is very melodious as well. So Krishna is saying that out of all these four Vedas, I'm Samaveda. It is the chief. It is the best. Then the next he says that of all the Devatas, I am Indra. Why? Because Indra is the king of the Devatas. So he's saying that he's the chief. So I'm representing Indra there. And out of all the senses that we have, mind is the most difficult to control. So because it is the most difficult to control, that means it is the most powerful as well. And that is why out of all the senses, Krishna says that I am mind. And of all the living beings, the Chetana or the consciousness, the life force is represented by Krishna. We were just before, two verses before, we were talking about how everything was dead. And then Krishna had to actually enter into that as super soul to bring that living force into them. So the main difference between the dead material and the living being is that there is this consciousness, there is the Chetana that is there. And that Chetana is it is a representation of the Supreme Lord. So Srila Prabhupada, actually the purports here are very, very small for almost all of these verses, if you see. And Srila Prabhupada says, the difference between matter and spirit is that matter has no consciousness like the living entities. Therefore, this consciousness is supreme and eternal. Consciousness cannot be produced by combination of matter. So, because it is supreme and eternal, and without that, the living beings are dead. That is why it is Krishna is saying that Chetana is represented by me. Let us look at the next verse number 23. रुद्राणां शङ्करश्चास्मि वित्तेषो यक्षरक्षसां वसुनां पावकश्चास्मि मेरुः शिखरिणामहम्. Who's next? Yes, Mahendra Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. And of the mountains, I am Meru. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So others can also raise their hand. Otherwise, our regular ones will read the more and more translations. Okay. But I like their enthusiasm in doing this. So in this verse, Krishna is saying, out of all the Rudras, there are 11 Rudras, and out of them, Lord Shiva is the chief amongst them. So he is he is representing Krishna. So Shiva amongst all the Rudras, 11 Rudras. And Vittesha, who's Vittesha? Vitta Isha. Isha means the controller. Vitta means the money. So so who is the Lord of the wealth? Kuvera. So so amongst all the yakshas and rakshasas, Krishna is represented by Kuvera. The next one is Vasus. There are 8 Vasus, and out of those Vasus, Agni or the fire is represented by Krishna. Now, these Vasus, you actually must be aware of that in Mahabharata, there were these Bhishma and his 7 other brothers were there, and the 7 brothers were like as soon as they were born, Mother Ganges actually then kills them in a way that he puts them into the river. So that is because all these 8 Vasus were uh, cursed by Vashishta Muni. And then to come out of that curse, Mother Ganges was actually helping them. So actually we can see that this Bhishma Dev is actually the brother of Agni because he's one of the Vasus. So those are the Vasus. So out of those 8 Vasus, Agni is the most powerful and he is representation of Krishna. And then out of all the mountains, it is said that he is Meru. Now Meru is the mountain famed for its rich natural resources, Srila Prabhupada says. So that is why Meru is considered the chief amongst the mountains. Okay. Raghavendra Prabhu, you have a question or you have raised your hand for reading the
Question,
scripture?
Prabhu. Sorry.
Okay.
Question. I mean, Indra is creates so much trouble in at the past times against Krishna. So how do we kind of say? Here he says, "I'm Indra amongst the demigods."
Yeah.
So it's, and also mind is so much a problematic for everyone, and Krishna says, "I'm the mind." So it feels bit.
You will be even more surprised when you see further verses, Prabhuji. Actually, the idea is it is the formula is given in the end. So that is why. So in the 41st verse, Krishna says, know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So it is difficult to actually understand or, sorry, identify each one of them and then explain. That is why Krishna gives us a formula finally, that I can't explain you this limitless opulences which are there. But anything that is beautiful, opulent, glorious, that is there, that is actually coming from my spark only. So amongst all the devatas, the chief amongst devatas is Indra. And we have actually seen, and we have discussed this before as well, even though in the scriptures, many places we see that Indra has been made some mistake, Indra has made some mistake. But in general, it is one mistake out of his long lifetime that he has. And most of the time, he is governing the devatas nicely. And he's actually running the heavenly planets very beautifully and very nicely. So he's a good administrator. That is why he has been put that as a king of the heavenly planets. So he's glorious. But when sometimes in the scriptures we hear about Indra, then we think that, oh, he's always making mistake and he's like this, he's like that. But you have to understand that in the universal government, he is one of the big ministers. And if Krishna is the head, if you understand that Krishna is the head of that universal government, why would he actually install Indra as the head of heavenly planet if he was not one of the confident or confidential servant of Krishna? If it was not that, then he would have never put him into that position. And we can also see from those pastimes where Indra has made mistakes, Krishna never kills him. Whereas when some demons are making mistakes, he immediately kills them because they are not the devotees. But Indra is a devotee of Krishna, and because he has taken that path to actually follow in Krishna's supremacy, and he is accepting Krishna's supremacy most of the time. Sometimes he gets bewildered, but most of the time he has accepted Krishna's supremacy, and that is why whenever, even if he makes very very big mistakes, Krishna says, "Okay, fine, mera hi aadmi hai. This is he is my person, so I will
just
take care of."
just on that. But Krishna says, "I am in Indra there."
Hmm.
So is that does he have all the potency as Krishna being Indra, or just some spark in there?
Yeah, so we just read that now that when Krishna is saying that I am Indra, it doesn't mean that we can actually stop worshipping Krishna tomorrow and then start worshipping Indras to find the deities of Indra somewhere and start worshipping Indra like that. No. Krishna is saying that in this material world, how can you actually see Krishna everywhere? So anything that you see a spark, and in the 7th and 9th chapter as well, Krishna has said that if there is some strong person, you can see that the strength of that strong is actually coming from me. If you see a very intelligent person, then the intelligence of that intelligent person is coming from me. When you're drinking water, The taste of water is coming from me. So anything that is wonderful is, and it has like some essence of that is actually Krishna. That is what Krishna is saying.
Thank you.
So this is how we can actually see that, oh, Indra has been made the king of the heaven. And this potency that is there in Indra to rule the heavenly planet, is actually coming from Krishna. So we can see Krishna's spark. Ekam Shena Sthito Jagat, Krishna says in the end, that just by spark of my opulence or my potency, everything like this entire universe is running. So we can see some spark of Krishna inside these opulent things. And that is how we can see that, oh, this is Krishna, this is coming from Krishna, that is coming from Krishna. And that is why one of the things that for developing humility as well, which is the truth, but just for developing humility, for practicing humility, the devotees say that actually all of these abilities that I have is coming from Krishna. Now, even though we don't mean that in the beginning, even though that is the truth, that all the abilities are coming from Krishna, we are asked to practice that. That way, we understand that we don't get proud of any of the capabilities that we have, any of the skills that we have, any of the opulences that we have. We just say that this is all coming from Krishna. Even though that is truth, in the beginning, we are not ready to accept it. So, but the idea is that anything that good that you have, that is coming from the spark of Krishna. And that is how you can see Krishna's opulence in the material world. It doesn't mean that Indra is Krishna. Actually, sometimes when there is no suitable person to take Indra's position, Krishna also expands to take the form of Indra. He also sometimes take the form of Brahma. But in general, this Indra is not referred to that special situation. This Indra is still mentioned as any Indra who takes up the heavenly kingdom. And the same thing about the mind, because the mind is the strongest of the senses. Just like Krishna is going to say now, after in few verses, out of all the Pandavas, Arjuna is the best. So Krishna says that Arjuna, you are me. So out of Pandavas, if you want to see Krishna, then he can say that Arjuna, your potency, you are the best of them. So that is coming from my opulence as well. Is that making sense?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Yeah. It does.
Okay, fine. So out of mountains, Krishna says that he is Meru. Out of Vasu, he says he is Agni. And out of Yaksha Rakshasas, he is Kuvera. And out of all the Rudras, 11 Rudras, Krishna says he is a Shankara or Lord Shiva. Okay, let's go to verse number 24. पुरोधसां च मुख्यं मां विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिं सेनानिनामहं स्कन्दः सरसामस्मि सागरः. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Of
You can continue.
priests, O Arjun, know me to be the chief Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Hare Krishna.
So here Krishna is actually giving more opulences. So what he's saying of the priests. So Brihaspati is the priest of Indra. So just like Indra is the of all the devatas, Indra is the chief. So similarly, his priest is the chief of all the priests. So that is why Krishna says that of all the priests, I am Brihaspati. So he's Brihaspati amongst priests. Then he says of all the generals. So Devata's general, the chief of army is Kartikeya. So he's saying that Kartikeya is among generals, is representing me. And of all the bodies of water, I am the ocean. Why? Because no matter how many rivers pour into ocean doesn't lose the control. So it doesn't actually increase or goes beyond the boundaries. And even though so much water evaporates from the ocean, it doesn't mean that the ocean's level is going down. It just remains steady. So that is why ocean is the greatest in amongst the bodies of water, and that is representing Krishna. Let us go to the next verse. Maharshinam Bhruguraham Giramasmya Ekam Aksharam Yajnanam japa yajñosmi sthavaranam Himalayah. Okay, Kalakri Mataji, Sivakash Prabhuji, and then Vibhor Prabhuji, you can do next one.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Of
Hare
the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So here, um, first of all, Krishna is saying that of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. So of all the sages who were born from Brahma, Bhrigu is the chief amongst them. That is why Krishna is saying that amongst all those sages, I am Bhrigu. Then he says, amongst all those transcendental vibrations, which are like, which are the chanting of mantras, but that is Eka Aksharam. So that is Om. So amongst all these vibrations, he is Om vibration. But interestingly, then he says, of all the sacrifices, I am Japa. So, Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi. And then he says, Thavaranam Himalaya. So, of all the immovable things, I am Himalaya. So, what is this Japa? Like, why the sacrifice? Among the sacrifices, he is called Japa. What kind of sacrifice we are doing here when we do Japa? And Srila Prabhupada actually mentions in the purport of all sacrifices, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is the purest representation of Krishna. So whatever is sublime, so it is the simplest and the purest. Whatever is sublime in the world is a representation of Krishna. And that is why the chanting of Hare Krishna is represented at Japa. But why it is considered as a sacrifice? Geeta Jayanti Mataji, your hand is still up. Is that from the past, or you want to actually add something?
Sorry. I'll just lower my hand.
Surananda Prabhu, what kind of sacrifice is Japa?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we are giving time first, and
Okay.
also we are trying to control our senses, focus on Krishna, and mind also very chanchala. So we are trying to focus it on Krishna.
Absolutely, very nice. Margi Mataji,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, our ego.
ego, how we are controlling ego, how we are sacrificing the ego while doing Japa?
Because we are chanting Lord's name, so prioritizing Him over us.
Yeah, very nice. Excellent. Wonderful. So between both of you, you have covered everything that I wanted to say. First of all, in the Kali Yuga, what is most precious? Time. Everyone says that I do not have time. I do not have time. Prabhuji, time ही नहीं है. Mataji, time ही नहीं है. So for doing japa, we have to actually find some time. So we have to sacrifice some time. In that time, we can do many other things, but we are actually putting some time for Krishna for doing the japa, chanting. Then our senses wants to do so many different things. So we would want to watch some movies, we would want to hear some music, we want to taste something very nicely, smell something nicely. So all the senses are always hankering for something interesting. And we are engaging those senses in chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So that means we are making the senses sacrifice and then engage in Krishna's service. Then the third thing is mind. Mind always wants to go here and there. Like it wants to just travel around the world in few seconds and then come back and again do something. And so just want to get absorbed in many other things. But we are trying to focus that mind on this sound vibration. So that means we are sacrificing the mind's ability as well and trying to calm it down. So that is there. And also the ego is wanting to put ourselves in the center. But by chanting japa, we are saying that, oh Krishna, please engage me in your service. And you are putting Krishna in the center. So again, you are sacrificing that as well. So very, very wonderful sacrifice that we can do. And Srila Prabhupada says that there is no question of violence in this sacrifice. It is not that we have to sacrifice an animal, we have sacrificed that or whatever. We are just sacrificing our anarthas, and that is how we are doing this Sankirtan Yagya or Japa Yagya here. So Yajnanam Japa Yagyosmi. All right. Text 26. Ashwatha sarvavrukshanam devarshinam cha naradaha gandharvanam chitraratha siddhanam kapilo munihi. Who's next?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I read?
Yeah, Ashoka Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Of all the of trees, I am the banyan tree, and of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitratha, and among perf- perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So further opulences, Krishna is saying. The first one is of all the trees, I am the banyan tree, which is the Ashwatha tree. So this in New Zealand, I haven't seen the banyan tree yet. Hopefully, there may be some banyan tree somewhere. But in India, you have so many banyan trees, and they're so beautiful. They are amazing. And in my childhood, I remember that in front of my house there was this one big banyan tree, and it is so amazing that it grows and it becomes very dense on top. And when it is very, very sunny, people can actually just sit under that tree and be very satisfied that, oh, it is providing such a wonderful shade. And this banyan tree is considered so sacred, so it is also worshipped. So many people will come and worship, especially the women will also come and worship on a particular day for praying for the long lives of their husbands. So this amongst all the trees, Krishna says, I am Ashwatha tree. Then amongst the sages, amongst the demigods, Devarshis. So Devarishi. So among the Devarishis, he's Narada. So the sages amongst demigods, he's Narada. And then of the Gandharvas, he's Chitraratha. Now Gandharvas, their specialty is they are higher than the human beings, and their specialty is that they sing very wonderfully. They also have other powers and potencies, but they are mainly actually good singers, Gandharvas. So chief amongst them is Chitraratha. Now he is a friend of Arjuna, and their friendship came up after their fighting. So at one point in time, Chitraratha was taking a bath in the river, and all these Pandavas were exiled, and they were just going at night, traveling with, and Arjuna was leading with a torch in front. And then suddenly, Chitraratha came out of this river and said that, "Hey, who are you? Why are you here? This river is now reserved for Gandharvas, and especially for me to take bath here. So all of you can come little later on. So you just get lost quickly, otherwise I'll kill you." Now, how can Arjuna accept that and tolerate that? He's a Kshatriya. He said that these rivers, mountains, and all these things are not reserved by anyone at any time. Anyone can go there at any time. And who's fearful of you? If you want to fight, I'm ready to fight. So Chitraratha became very, very angry. And he said that, okay, if you want to die, then I can't help it. So he just shot 100 arrows together. And Arjuna did not even have to actually bring his put out his weapons. He was holding this torch in his hand, and he just with the torch he just destroyed all these 100 arrows. And then he said that, okay, you look like more powerful than humans, so I'll just use one astra on you. And he just fired the Agnayastra, which is the fire weapon that he had received. So using that, he just he fired it on Chitraratha, and Chitraratha's the Ratha, because he had a very beautiful chariot. That is why he was also called Chitraratha. His chariot got burnt, and Chitraratha became what is that? He became unconscious. He fell unconscious. Then his wife came running and said that, oh, please, please don't kill him. So Yudhishthir Maharaj said, okay, fine, I forgive Chitraratha, so you can go. So Chitraratha actually then became very morose, and he said that, okay, thank you for saving my life, protecting me, and not taking my life. So here I'm giving you these few things. So he gave these white horses, which are very celestial, which Arjuna used afterwards. So these white horses he gave Chitraratha. Then he gave this special ability of singing that Gandharvas have to Arjuna. And he also gave this knowledge of which is special knowledge called Chakshushi, by which people can actually see the difference between good and bad. And this is the special power that Gandharvas have that separates them from the human beings and how they became more powerful than human beings. So that power as well he offered to Arjuna. But Arjuna said that I can't accept charity because my brother said, the elder brother said that I should forgive you and I should let you go. So it is my duty to accept his order. So I can't accept anything from you now, because if I accept anything, then it becomes a charity that I am accepting. So Chitrata said, no, 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 don't accept it as a charity. You become my friend, and in exchange, you give me the knowledge of this fire weapon with which you defeated me. So Arjuna accepted, and that is how they became friends. So that is the Chitraratha, that reference that comes from Mahabharata as well. He's very powerful, but Arjuna defeated him. But he is the chief amongst the Gandharvas, and that is why Krishna says that he's Chitraratha amongst Gandharvas. And in the last one here in this verse, he says the Siddhanam Kapilo Munihi. So amongst all the Siddhas, he is Kapila Muni, who's the son of Kardama and Devahuti. Now, Kapila Dev is actually considered the incarnation of the Supreme Lord. But actually, he's a Jiva, and he's a Shakti-Avesha avatar. So Jiva having the Shakti or special potency invested in him. So he's not considered as like a uh, direct incarnation of the Supreme Lord. He's a Shakti Avesha avatar. So going forward, okay, we are on verse number 27. Okay, Uchay Shava Samashwasa Uchay Shava Samashwanam Vidhi Mam Amrutodbhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam Cha Naradhipam. Okay, Paminder Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. All forces know me to be Uchishravasa,
Ucheshava,
produced during the churning of the ocean of nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavata, and among the men, I am the monarch.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. So in this verse, three more opulences are given. Ucheshrava. Ucheshrava was born when the devatas and demons were doing the churning of the ocean. Mainly, they were expecting nectar from it. But even before the nectar came, this beautiful horse came, which was white like milk. And that horse was known as Ucheshrava. And this horse was like Bali Maharaj was the king of the demons, and he wanted this horse. So he was given this horse. And after Ucheshrava came, after that Airavata also came. Now he had like 4 trunks, and he was also very effulgent. So because the horse was taken by Bali Maharaj, Airavata was then taken by Indra. And then out of all the human beings, the king is considered very supreme. And in the Vedic times, the kings were called Naradeva. He was the Devata amongst all the human beings because he has the special potencies which are invested by Krishna, and that is why he has become king. So that is why the king is also a representation of the Supreme Lord. Then moving ahead, आयुधानाम् अहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः. Yes, Vibhav Prabhuji.
Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Amongst cows, I am the surabhi. Of causes of procreation, I am Kandarpa, the god of love. And of serpents, I am Vasuki. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So of the weapons, Krishna says, I am the thunderbolt, Vajra. Now this thunderbolt is very, very powerful, and it was created from the bones of Dadichi Rishi. Now Dadichi Rishi was not an ordinary Rishi. Whole of his life, he had chanted Narayana Kavacha, and because of that, he became very powerful. And when the Devatas were not able to defeat Vritrasur, Krishna gave them the idea that go and ask for the bones from Dadichi Rishi, and then from them, Vishwakarma can create this thunderbolt weapon for you. And Dadichi Rishi agreed. So then from his bones, Vishwakarma created this thunderbolt, and using that, then Indra killed Vritrasur. So very powerful. Then of all the cows, Surabhi cow is very, very dear to Krishna. Now Surabhi cow gives milk in all seasons, at any time. In fact, she is also, she can give anything that you desire as well. And Krishna has, in the Goloka Vrindavan, he has many Surabhi cows like that. And then amongst the causes of procreation is Kandarpa. Srila Prabhupada says, Kandarpa is a sex desire for presenting good sons. Therefore, Kandarpa is a representation of Krishna. Sometimes sex is engaged in only for sense gratification. Such sex does not represent Krishna. But sex for the generation of good children is called Kandarpa and represents Krishna. And later on, Krishna also says that Dharma aviruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. So the kama, or the sex desire, which is not against the principles of religion, then that is represented by me. That is me, Krishna says. So here also he has said the same thing, that the sex desire which is engaged in producing good children, that is Krishna, that is Kandarpa. And then Vasuki is mentioned as the, what is the line which is mentioned? At Sarpants, I am Vasuki. Now you can see in that picture, the Vasuki was used as a rope in the churning of the ocean. Now the rod which was there, that was the Mandar mountain. Now the Mandar mountain is so huge, and that there was no rope that could be used to actually make it as a churning rod. And the rope would not be powerful enough even if they found some rope. So that is why they requested Vasuki that you become the rope. And Vasuki was not interested in the beginning, because he will, like, his body will be frictioning against the mountain when they are churning, and it will be so painful. He said, what is there in it for me? So they said, okay, you become a part of it, and when the nectar comes out of it, we will give you some nectar. That is why Vasuki said, okay, fine, I will agree. And he is the chief amongst all the Sarpas in the Patal Loka. So that is why Krishna says that amongst the Sarpas I am Vasuki. Verse number 29. Anantaschasmi naganam varuno yadasamaham pitrunam aryama chasmi yama sanyamatamaham. Yes, Pamendra Prabhuji, and then Raghavendra Prabhuji, you can.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Of the many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta, and among the aquatics, I am demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama, and among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the lord of death.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So here we can see that of the Nagas, the many hooded Nagas, he is Ananta Shesh. Then out of all the aquatics, Varuna is the chief. So Varuna is a representation of Krishna. And there is a Pitruloka, just like there is a Yamaloka, where Yama is the chief. In Pitruloka, Aryama is the chief. There was one situation when Mandavya Muni became very unhappy with Yamaraj, and he cursed him. And that is when Yamaraj became Vidura. So because Yamaraj is now in the mortal world, like on the earthly planet. Someone has to still govern as Yamaraj. So this Aryama, who is on the neighboring planet, Pitruloka, he was given this additional portfolio of the ministry. Yamaloka ministry was also given to him at that time. So he was looking after Pitruloka as well as Yamaloka at that time. So Aryama is amongst he's the chief of the departed ancestors. All our Pitras, like all our ancestors, are living on that Pitruloka if they are not advancing further. Like if they were in the hellish planet and their all the sins have been washed away by the reactions or the results that they have gone through in the hellish planet, then they get parked in the Pitruloka till the time they get enough credits to move on to their next life. Or someone who has not done a lot of sinful activities who are sent to hellish planet and not a lot of good activities which who are sent to the heavenly planet. If there are some good activities, then they remain in Pitruloka as well. Till the time their um, what is that? The descendants do something good for them. And what is that good? When they offer them Krishna Prasad or they offer them the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra or something, and then using that, they can advance further. So that is why when you are offering in the Shraddha ceremony for the Pitras, you don't offer them anything that just like the whatever Pitras wanted, whatever they liked, you offer them. That is the wrong thing to do. Because what if they were eating some meat or whatever earlier and you offer that, then they remain there. In fact, they may actually degrade from there. So you want to offer them Krishna Prasad. So you cook in mode of goodness and offer that to Krishna first. And then after offering to Krishna, then you offer that prasad to your ancestors. And then from the Pitruloka, they will get advanced and they will move on from there. So they are now not stuck in the Pitruloka. Anyway, that was a segue. So Aryama amongst the departed souls, and then Yamaraj, who is the Lord of the Death, is also representing Krishna. Moving on. Prahladaschasmi daityanam kala kalayataamaham mruganam cha mrugendroham vainateyascha pakshinam.
Krishna Prabhu,
Yes.
among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlada. Among subduers, I am time. Among beasts, I am the lion. Among birds, I am Garuda.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So just like Adityas are the sons of Aditi, similarly Daityas are the sons of Diti. So amongst all the sons of Diti, Prahlad is a devotee, a pure devotee. That is why Krishna says, amongst all the Daitya demons, Prahlad is my representation. Then amongst the subduers, Krishna says, I'm time. Because no one can win against time. No one can fight with time and come out as victorious. Time is always the winner. And of all the animals, lion is the greatest. So Krishna says that that is me. And of all the birds, it is Vainateya. Vainateya means the son of Vinita. So Garuda's mother is Vinita, and that is why his one of the name is Vainateya. So Garuda is the chief amongst them. So that is the representation of Krishna. Moving on, 31. Pavana pavatamasmi Rama shastrabhritamaham Jashana makarashchasmi Srotasamasmi Janhavi. Who was next? After Raghavendra Prabhu, there was someone? If not, then Pamendra Prabhu and then Surananda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. We are on 31.
Of purifiers I am the wind, of the wielders of weapon I am Rama, of fishes I am the shark, and of flowing waters I am the Ganges.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna
So
Prabhuji.
4 more opulences are coming. So of all the purifiers, Krishna says, I am wind. And of the wielders of the weapon is Rama. And so here the Rama is not actually Lord Ram, but it is Parshuram. because again, he's not explaining his incarnations here. Parshuram is also one of the Shaktyavesh avatars of the Lord. So here, this Rama is referring to Parshuram. And among the fishes, shark is the most powerful. So that is why it is mentioned that shark amongst the fishes. And just like from all the rivers, it is Ganges rivers. In Srimad Bhagavatam also it says Nimna Ganam Yatha Ganga Devanam Achyuto Yatha Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu uh, Purananam Idam Tatha. So Nimna Ganam Yatha Ganga it is mentioned. So of all the rivers, Ganga is the best. Devanam Achyuto Hari. So, of all the devatas, the supreme amongst them is Achyuta, which is the supreme Lord Krishna. And Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Of all the Vaishnavas, like the devotees of the Lord Vishnu, the best is Lord Shankara, Lord Shiva. And of all the Puranas, it is Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the best. So, here in that verse as well, Ganga was mentioned as the best amongst the rivers. Let us go ahead. Sarganam आदिरन्तश्च मध्यं चैवाहम् अर्जुन अध्यात्मविद्या विद्यानां वादा प्रवदतामहम्.
Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So there are three more opulences here. So beginning, middle, and end of all creations. And of all the all the sciences or the body of knowledge, Adhyatma Vidya, which is the spiritual science, which is the best. That is why that is a representation of Krishna. Spiritual science is the one where you can understand the difference between soul and the body. So that is why and using that knowledge, we can come out of this material conception of life and go back to the spiritual world again. So that is why Krishna is saying that Adhyatma Vidya is a representation of me. And then conclusive truth, Vada, is representation of Krishna. So in this Nyaya philosophy, there are different ways that you can actually prove your point. So Vada is focused on finding, it is the debate where the most important thing is finding the actual truth. So the people who are doing this debate, they are not attached to their own viewpoints. They are attached to finding what is the right truth. So that is where they like there is another one which is called Vitandavad, where instead of proving their own points, their focus is how to negate the opposite person's point. And that is where they will just keep focusing like that. So they are not interested in finding the truth. They are interested in winning and putting down the other person. So Krishna is saying that that is not me. I'm Vada, where people are interested in finding actually focus is on finding the truth. Okay. Aksharanam akarosmi dvandvah samasikasya cha ahameva akshaya kalo dhataham vishwato mukhaha. Who was next?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I?
Yeah, let us first give a chance to Uma Mataji and Vidushi Mataji, and then we can come back to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma.
Thank you, Mataji. So of all the letters, I am the letter A because you cannot pronounce any other word without pronouncing a. So that is why he is considered as the chief. That letter is representing Krishna. Then dual compound or of all the samasas, Krishna is called Dvandva Samas. Now, like samasa means when the words are combined together to create a third word. That is called samasa. So Dvandva Samas is one of the type of the samasas where both the words which are joined together has equal weightage or they're equally important. For example, when somebody says Ramakrishna, Rama is also important, Krishna is also important. So when we say Ramakrishna, it is an example of Dvandva Samas. But then there are some samasas where either the first word has more importance or the second word has more importance, or both words doesn't have importance. For example, bahur, bahuvrihi samas, where both words are not important. For example, Chaturbhuja. Chatu means four and Bhuja means four hands, like hands. But both words doesn't have importance because finally the Chaturbhuja is referring to Lord Vishnu. So that is why the both words do not have importance. Then in Avyayi Bhava Samas, first part is important. In Tat Purusha Samas, second part is important. But in Dvandva, both words are important. So Krishna is saying, I am that Dvandva Samas. And then Krishna says that I am also inexhaustible time. So he's time himself. And of all the creators, Krishna says, I am Brahma. Of course, he is the main creator, but in the secondary creators, he is Brahma. Okay, let's go ahead. 34. Mrityu sarvaharaschaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirti shrirvakcha narinam smrutirmedha dhrutikshama. Who was next? Ashoka Mataji.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be among women. I am fame. For, for fortune finds speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So Krishna is all devouring death. He is like, as soon as Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, as soon as someone is born, he starts dying. But Krishna is that death which comes at the end when the body is completely gone. So that is all devouring death. So Krishna is that death. And then then he is also saying that I am the generating principles of all that is yet to be. So he is that generating seed from which everything is created. And then amongst qualities, some qualities are considered feminine. So the examples are fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. So the men can also have these qualities. It is not that the women have these qualities. The quality themselves are feminine qualities. Like some are referred to as male qualities, but some are feminine qualities. But the men can also have these qualities. Is that clear? Okay, fine. Let's move on. बृहत्साम तथा साम्नां गायत्री छन्दसामहं मासानां मार्गशीर्षोऽहं ऋतूनां कुसुमाकरः. Okay, Parmendra Prabhuji and then Uma Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Of the hymns in the Samved, I am the
Bharatsama.
And of the poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of month, I am Margashira, November and December. And of the season, I am flower-bearing spring.
Yeah.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And the Samvedas, earlier Krishna said, of the Vedas, he's Samaveda. But in Samavedas as well, there are multiple parts, different areas which are there. So out of those different parts, Krishna says that of Samaveda, I am Brihat Sam. Then of the poetry, Krishna says, I am Gayatri. So the Gayatri poetry, Gayatri is amongst the poetry. And then amongst the month, Margashirsha is the month, like it's the time when you get the crops and everyone is very happy. And of all the seasons, Krishna says, I am Kusumakara. Kusuma means flowers. So flower bearing season, which is spring. So Krishna is saying of all the seasons, spring is the best because it is not too hot, not too cold, and you get lots of flowers. So it is so beautiful. So that's me. Then going to next 36. Dyutam chalayatam tejas tejasvinamaham jayosmi vyavasayosmi sattvam sattvavatamaham.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'm also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid, I am the splendor, I am the victory, I am the adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. I'm going to take some 5-10 more minutes so that we can complete this chapter. Otherwise, we'll have to just cover a few verses next week. So we'll just continue. So in this verse, Krishna is saying that he is gambling of cheats. So Krishna is saying that the even Dyuta, sorry, the Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi. So the cheaters who are trying to cheat others, this gambling which is happening, that is also me. Like that is me, that is coming from me. And Srila Prabhupada actually mentions in here or some other lecture he had mentioned about so many different examples where even the great people also cheat little bit, but that is for the bigger purpose. For example, Dhritarashtra and Gandhari followed Vidura, but they did not disclose that to Sanjaya. And then Sanjaya said afterwards, when he found out, you all cheated me, that you did not tell me, and you have actually gone to the forest now. So that was a cheating because they knew Sanjaya will not be able to bear if Dhritarashtra is going to the forest and Gandhari is going to the forest. Then Sanatan Goswami, when he wanted to go away, he was in the prison. So he also cheated. He cheated the keeper of the prison house uh, because he wanted to go to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said that, okay, you take this, I'm just going. And then he just vanished from there. So that is how he also cheated a little bit. So that is, but that cheating is mainly for the greater purpose because they are materially seeing if they are cheating, but from the spiritual perspective, they are actually going to, they are doing the best from the, for the higher goal, the spiritual goal. That is why they are doing. So that kind of cheating is Krishna is saying that that is representation of me. Then of the splendid, he's the splendor, and his victory, his adventure, and he's the strength of the strong. And that is what is mentioned in this verse. Next one. Vrishninam vasudevosmi pandavanam dhananjaya muninam apyaham vyasaha kavinam ushana kavihi. Was that Uma Mataji who was going to be next, or did you read? Or you just read now? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So Gita Jayanti Mataji.
Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyas, and among great thinkers, I am Ushana.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
So Vasudeva amongst Vrishnis. So of the Vrishnis, he is Vasudeva. So Vasudev, so all the sons of Vasudev are called Vasudeva. So here our Acharyas explain, so Krishna is not representing himself, but Balaram is also Vasudeva. He is also son of Vasudeva. So that is why actually this particular part is mentioned as it is representation of Balaram. And then amongst Pandavas, he is Arjuna, and amongst sages, he is Vyasa. And of all the great thinkers, he is Shukracharya. Ushana means it's another name of Shukracharya. Shukracharya was one of the greatest thinkers, and that is why, even though he's the teacher of the demons, Krishna says, of all those great thinkers, I am Shukracharya, I am Ushana. Okay, next one. Dando damayatam nitirasmi jigishataam maunam chaivasmi guhyanam jnanam jnanavatamaham. Yeah, Gunjan Mataji.
Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am the wisdom. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, 4 more things. Punishment among means of suppressing lawlessness. There may be various different means of suppressing lawlessness, but punishing someone is the chief, is the main important one. And that is why Krishna says that I am that punishment. And there may be different ways that you can seek victory. But if someone seeks victory through morality, if he follows the moral principles and then he gains victory, that is the best. And that is why Krishna says that that kind of victory, which is coming through morality, is me. Among secret things, his silence, mauna. If you want to keep anything secret, keep quiet. If you tell someone else about that secret and thinking that that other person will keep it secret, then that is not going to work out. If you couldn't keep your secret secret, expecting someone else to keep that secret is foolishness. They will also tell to others and say that don't tell anyone. Just like you have told to them and said that don't share it with others, the same thing that other person is going to do. So if you want to keep something secret, mauna, that is the best. Otherwise, you can't keep that secret. And of the wise, Krishna is saying, I am wisdom. 39. Yachapi sarvabhutanam bijam tadaham arjuna na tadasti vina yatsyan maya bhutam characharam. Gita Jayanti Mataji, your hand is still up. Okay. Mahendra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So generating seed of all existence. So he's that seed by which everything is generated, through which, because Krishna has already said, Aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate. Everything material spiritual is coming from me. So he's the generating seed of all existence. Nothing can exist without Krishna. So he says there is no being moving or non-moving that can exist without me. So nothing can exist without Krishna. Next one. नान्तोऽस्ति मम दिव्यानां विभूतीनां परन्तप एष तुद्देशतः प्रोक्तो विभूतेर्विस्तरो मया. Okay, we go.
Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations
No,
spring
48
from.
one, Prabhuji. We are reading 48.
O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So there is no end to Krishna's manifestations and opulences. So he's begin with that in the verse number 18, that my opulences are limitless. So he is again saying the same, that no end to my manifestation. So how much I'm going to tell you. So here I'm just giving you a formula now. यद् यद् विभूतिमत्सत्त्वं श्रीमद् ऊर्जितमेव वा तत्तदेव गच्छत्वं मम तेजोंश संभवम्. Yeah. Who's next? Okay, Parmendra Prabhuji, your hand is permanently up, so
Hare
no
Krishna,
one raises, then you are the one.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Know that of all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor.
Yeah, so Krishna has given now a formula. So he's saying that there are unlimited manifestations. So how can you actually, instead of telling you the entire thing, I'm just giving you a formula that everything that is opulent, beautiful, glorious, that is just coming from a spark of my splendor. So it is not my entire opulence. It is not that you see some wisdom into some person and you think that, oh, this is Krishna. No, no, that is just a small part of my splendor. The entire wisdom you can't understand anyway, because that is limitless. And so this wisdom or whatever that you see, any strength or wisdom or beauty, that is just a spark of my splendor. So this is how we can actually see Krishna everywhere. The last one. अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन विष्टभ्याहमिदं कृष्णम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्. Yes, Vidushi Mataji.
But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So here Krishna is saying that, Are, what is the point in telling all these small things that I'm telling you? That just by single fragment of my power, this entire universe is supported. So I'm telling you things which are inside the universe, but what is the use of all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. We talked about earlier that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu enters into each of the universe, and that is how this universe is supported. And that is a single fragment because he's just expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the expansion. I think which expansion, I don't know, fifth expansion, I think, in that series, that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu comes. And so he's a single fragment. And like that, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, each Garbhodakshaya Vishnu enters into each universe. So he's a single fragment of Krishna's opulence, and that is pervading and supporting the entire universe. So what is the need to actually tell about this, all these other smaller opulences that I have been explaining to you? So this is how we can see that Krishna has explained so many of his opulences. And the whole purpose of explaining these opulences is that so that the common person like all of us, we can see the Supreme Lord in our day-to-day life as the source of any opulence that we see in this material world. So we can actually see Krishna everywhere. Even like in the 7th and 9th chapter as well, Krishna has mentioned those vibhutis, and here as well, he has explained quite a lot, around 82 of them. So all of this knowledge has been given so that we can start seeing Krishna everywhere around us. Anything that is glorious, anything that is beautiful, anything that is opulent, we can look at that and we can understand that this is coming from Krishna. This is an opulence of Krishna that is being manifested here. But it is not the full opulence, but it is even like a fraction of the spark that is Krishna's spark is actually giving this opulence. So imagine if the fraction is giving this opulence, imagine what the whole opulence would be, which is within Krishna. So if this beauty that we are attracted to is coming from this fraction, imagine the full beauty of Krishna, because Krishna means Sarva Akarshati iti Krishna. So how beautiful Krishna will be. So that will actually give us that comparison. And that way we can get more and more attracted towards Krishna. The whole point of this chapter was Krishna is giving this knowledge about himself by which we can get more and more attracted towards him. By more knowledge, we will get more desires to actually serve Krishna and get closer to him. So this is what Krishna wanted to achieve in this chapter. But Arjuna is not going to be satisfied with this. He's going to ask for more. Give me more in the next chapter. But we'll see that next time. So we'll stop here. Any questions, comments, reflections anyone has on this chapter? Or any summary points anyone wants to say? Amendra Prabhuji, your hand is still up, permanent up.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, one thing that struck me was everything, good qualities, even the bad qualities that might be used for good as well. And every existence is coming out of Krishna, and then still also it's just like a fraction of his, you can say, opulence. And no matter how hard we try, it's so infinite we can't explain or like even mention it, all of it.
Yes, yeah. Krishna is actually everything in this world. But I will just differ a little bit on the bad qualities. Because, for example, Krishna says that for when he was explaining that Kandarpa, so he mentioned that only the sex desire, which is for procreation, generation of good children, is called Kandarpa. Prajanaschasmi Kandarpaha. So that means it is not that all sex desire is Krishna. So any sex desire which is for sense gratification, that was not Krishna. So similarly, anything that is like the bad qualities that we see, that is not coming from Krishna. It is our own lack of Krishna consciousness is manifesting those bad qualities. So when we say that there is light, and then there is darkness. So darkness is nothing but there is absence of light. So because we are not having Krishna consciousness, automatically we become Maya conscious. So because we do not have that light, we have that darkness. So that is how we can see that when we are centered around Krishna, the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance from which the bad qualities comes, those will not be within us. Now those bad qualities are controlled by Maya, and Krishna is controlling those, controlling Maya. Yes, so everything is under control of Krishna. That is true. But it is not that Krishna has those bad qualities himself. I hope that is making sense. He is the
Yes,
controller
Prabhuji.
of them, but he is
What I
not doing those bad. But
what I
there was,
meant
of course,
was,
we talked about the Dyutam.
yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So where that, but we talked about that how those are also anything, even chala that he is doing,
Mhm.
that becomes glorious and worshipable. Even if he steals makhan, butter, that becomes worshipable. That becomes like a pastime which we actually can glorify.
So, Prabhuji, what I meant was, sorry, bad choice of word. What I meant was, like certain qualities, they might be considered overall not that good,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Understood. I understood
maybe
your,
his when he's like taking Makhan, he's doing that to please his devotees.
yes.
So the end result is really good on that one. When he's doing Chala or Duta or things like that, he's doing it against demons. So like, and just to, in some cases, let's say they get a boon from Brahmaji, which is one of his devotee, just to keep his word. Like he find ways to get around those like loopholes.
Absolutely. Correct. Yes,
Hare
very good,
Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Good examples. Surananda Prabhuji and then Mahendra Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So if I see any good qualities in others or even something I'm doing good, I should always think it is just Krishna's energy. So I should not get proud on because of that.
Okay. Thank you. Very, the most important point you have covered. Who was next? Mahendra Prabhu, yeah.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, so in these three lectures, mainly it's one must worship Krishna with love and full devotion. That's what, and one must completely accept what Krishna is saying every word in Bhagavad Gita. So that's something. Also, like I enjoyed these three lectures mainly because with so many small examples, and with these opulences as well, you were telling us a lot of different things, which is hard to read everywhere. Like Gotra, I wasn't aware of Gotra, as you mentioned. Like detailed explanation about Gotra, so that was good. Today also about story about Chitraratha and also these other small stories, which was really good, like churning of the ocean. So really enjoyed it. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. There are many stories, but otherwise this will go on.
Yeah, I would have loved to have this
Hear more?
particular chapter for 5-6 classes. Yeah.
Yeah, we are going to start Srimad Bhagavatam study as well. There, lots of stories will be there, so
Yeah.
you can join in that one.
Thank you.
Afterwards.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sannivas Prabhuji. How come you are so silent,
Hare
Prabhuji? No reading today, huh?
No, Prabhuji, I was catching up all sevas as well. Sorry.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, here in the sloka number 40, it says that we see whatever the qualities what Krishna was mentioning, O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. So that word divine attracted me because even though whatever in the material world, whatever Krishna explained here, they're all divine manifestations.
Yeah, so if you actually see, even Maya is, Krishna said that Daivi Hesha Gunamayi. So even Maya is referred to as Daivi Prakriti. So it is not that everything that is there in the material world that we can consider as not divine, because everything is coming from Krishna. If everything is coming from Krishna, they are also divine from that perspective. So that is why, oh, it is said that Nastosti Mama Divyanam, Vibhutinam Parantapa. So, O mighty Conqueror, there is no end to my divine manifestations. So anything that comes out of Krishna is divine, and all of these opulences which are coming from the spark or the like from Krishna, that is also some divine manifestations.
Yeah, that also make me to how to connect that divine quality to Krishna, because a lot of people get stuck with that one. So they are very natural. They are called naturopathies. Like they get attracted to divine qualities of nature, but they can't see through what is behind it, who is
Yes.
behind it. So this was very nice point, and you nicely explained it, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji,
Thank
for pointing that out. Any other realizations, reflections, summary points on this chapter before we finish today?
Prabhu, we are limited, but the Krishna opulences are limitless.
Correct. Krishna is unlimited and we are limited. So we can't actually, with our limited understanding, understand all of the opulences of Krishna. That's right.
Yeah, correct.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Surananda Prabhuji, your hand is up again.
Yes, Prabhuji. One other point I wanted to take, though Mahendra Prabhuji, Parmendra Prabhuji covered it in terms of Krishna, but what I see, like anyone who is cheating because of higher purpose, so we should take it positive.
Yeah. So if it is like from the spiritual perspective, they are actually doing something. For example, you are taking sick leave on Janmashtami, that is for a higher purpose. So that should be fine. That is that is protected by that. That sentence of Krishna. Okay, I think we will stop here today, and from next week we can see the next chapter, the universal form, 11th chapter. All right, Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.